Hey guys, look what I got. That's right, I just got the brand new E-flite UMX F4F Wildcat. It is a 2S brushless UMX Warbird. I'm going to quit talking. We are going to open up the box and we're going to see what's going on inside. Alright guys, here's what we've got going on inside the box. As you can see, this is just the plane and some faux landing gear over there. There's no battery, there's no charger, and there's no radio, which makes this a bind and fly basic. Alright, so here is a look at this plane outside of the box. The first thing that I noticed when I took it out of the box was this. It's like marker stain or whatever it is. I'm not too happy about that being on my brand new plane, and I just noticed this. I'd actually sent a picture of this yesterday to Horizon Hobby Support, and hopefully they're gonna take care of me on that. I will update in the comments how that progresses. I don't think you should receive a brand new airplane that is already marred up and dented up and dinged up. Now I didn't see this dent when I took it out. I've actually been under the weather the last few days, had a birthday, all that stuff. So I didn't do a thorough inspection, but there's definitely a big dent there. One of the other things that I've noticed with every single one of the last 3 releases that I've done, that's the A10, the Waco, and of course this, is this side of the elevator. Any one of the releases that have this metal thing there, it is a horrible design. What I mean by that is you'd think a metal rod would be great, keep everything in order. It's not, because this side is all floppy and usually is disproportionate with this, and you've got to correct it, bend it, you've got to tweak it to make it so it is how it should be. Now you can see the rudder's a little out of alignment. That will probably fix itself with when I bind it. I haven't bound this yet, but so far I'm really not happy with this. I like the overall looks, but the quality control has not been very solid from Horizon Hobby for quite some time now, and it only seems like it's getting worse. Even though they're coming out with great items like this, you know, in theory, the design is fantastic, but the execution and attention to detail has sucked. Alright, so let's continue on. Let's look at the battery bay. Inside the battery bay, we've got a nice big battery bay there. Here is a look at the motor mount. It looks like it's mounted like way down and off, and it most likely it's to account for the torque from the 3-bladed prop. That is one of the questions that I had for Horizon Hobby when I called is, okay, is this by design or did they make a mistake in the manufacturing process? Because obviously they are very sloppy with what they've been doing lately. So apparently that's okay. It should be pretty significant like that. And there's always going to be a little bit of that on most RC planes. So if you're new to the hobby, know that this is just a very extreme version of what we're typically used to. It's probably because of the 3-braided prop, as well as the 3000 kV motor, which is very powerful, and I really like that a lot. So one of the major bright sides of this is it has landing gear. And this is very, very solid, or at least it seems to be. So I'm excited about that. I can take off and land my Wildcat on pavement. That is cool. All right, I am gonna bind this, and we are gonna listen to this motor and test the control surfaces. Alright guys, here's a look at the control surfaces in action. These are the ailerons at 75% dual rate, so you can see that there is a lot of throw, so that's good. Should make for some nice tight aileron rolls, and I love those, especially with my big Wildcat. And here is a look at the rudder. The bind, oops, we turned that on. The rudder did not correct itself when we bound it up. A lot of times that will do that. To fix that, all we have to do is pinch that little U-horn right up in there. Let's get a closer look at that. Pinch it or squeeze it. Basically, we use that to fine-tune our control surfaces on these UMX planes. I wish there was a little bit more precise way to do that on these, to be completely honest. But that cheap way of doing it works for now. The one thing that you want to do is make sure you do it mechanically, because this thing has AS3X, and AS3X has its pros and cons. One of the biggest cons is that if you try and trim it on your radio more than 3 clicks, it is going to cause issues. So you've got to mechanically get it as close as you can, and then for those last couple clicks, you do it with your radio. Alright, so now let's look at the elevator throws. Not significant, but this is at 75% dual rates, and it should be just fine. I may bump it up to 80 before the maiden flight, but that still should be just fine. And now we are going to listen to that motor do its thing. Oh yeah. Alright, so we are going to experience the motor from a slightly different angle. Nice straight on angle. You can also see how torqued down that prop is, that prop angle. Man, that thing is energetic. I've got my Hyperion 330 Babel Bat. I love flying those in my 2S planes. They've got enough weight and power and quality. I don't like using the E-flite brands or pretty much any other brands except the Hyperion 330 Babel Bats. I also like using the 3S Babel Bats, the 240s. But those are use at your own risk because it will void the warranty. So I will do flights with that, with both of those actually, coming up. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And now I'm going to compare this to a couple other planes right now. Alright guys, here is a look, basically a comparison between the brand new E-flite UMX F4F Wildcat compared to the classic Parkzone F4F Wildcat. There's two main differences between the two. One, obviously, is the prop. The E-flite UMX has the 3-bladed prop, and the Parkzone one has the 2-bladed prop, as you can see there. The other main difference is this one comes with landing gear. That one did not. This one is probably one of my favorite planes to fly. I don't really like the hand launch a plane that big, but you know what? Once you get used to it, it's not that big of a thing. And it flies incredible. If you look back on my channel 1, 2, 3 years ago, you'll see footage with that plane, and probably some of my best RC memories are flying this plane. So I hope that this thing can just scratch the surface on that. Alright, so here's a quick size comparison between the UMX P-51 Mustang and the UMX F4F Wildcat. As you can see, the wingspans are almost identical. The Wildcat's is literally just like half an inch or so wider, but they're both virtually the same size. They both have pilots. This one sits more upright. This one is kind of off kilter, but that's really the only defect that I ever had or noticed with that UMX P-51 Mustang. Also, here is the UMX P-47. that has a defect similar to what we've got going on the wing. It's definitely like a marker dot or something like that. I showed that in my unboxing with this, and hoping that that would resolve issues for all future models that I received. But you know what? It didn't, obviously, on this UMX Wildcat with that big spot on the wing. But this still flies fine, and I'm sure the UMX F4F Wildcat's gonna fly just fine too. And I'm gonna wrap things up with my final notes. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this thing up here with some closing notes while we wait for the weather to clear. That way I can give this thing a maiden flight. It's probably not gonna happen today, but I hope it does soon. So subscribe so you can check that out. A couple things that I did off camera was I made the elevator closer to level. It's still not perfect, but it's much closer. I centered that rudder. Problem is when I did that, I moved this off to the side because it seemed like either one needs to be centered or the other. So, all right. Another con that I want to talk about is this. These things just shouldn't happen. This paint scheme is so nice, and the finish is good, except for, you know, that, and then one of these denser dings that we're kind of used to getting on our UMX planes. You'd think they would handle them a little bit more carefully or something in the factories, given the other attention to detail they give to them, but that clearly they're not, and no one is enforcing it like they should. One of the other things that I want to mention is that the center of gravity, according to my good buddy Derek Blaze, the center of gravity is different than what it mentions in the manual for his, so be really careful when you maiden yours, guys, because nothing is worse than a super nose heavy or super tail heavy maiden flight. You want to have a good time with your brand new plane, and that's not what you want to have happen. All right, so the pros. Three-bladed prop looks really cool. I really like it. We've got the battery bay on top, and it's got a hatch. That is a huge pro for me. I really like that. The landing gear. I really like having the option of a landing gear. And, you know, we've got the faux landing gear if we want to belly land it too. We've got the nice big chubby Grumman fuselage here to belly land if we want to do that. There's still probably enough room to get clearance with the three-bladed prop. We'll find that out as we test it out. I plan to do both and probably make videos with both as time goes on. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing and review. Like, comment, and subscribe. And GB Linden, out.